Hey, and welcome to another episode of Late Night Tape 3. As you can see, it's just me today. A lot of the other members are either sick or just had other things to do. But I decided that I'll just go live and do a show, see what happens. It could be a mess, or it could be something fun. Like maybe people will jump on later if they free up. But yeah. At the moment, it's just me. But that aside, got a few things to talk about. Um, this weekend, we've had the DC Fandome event happen, which has, with the reveals that have happened, has been incredible. Um, we got a new trailer for Wonder Woman 84, which revealed the look um, of Kristen Wiig's cheetah in costume and there. And it was one of those things that was just so great. Um, and it was one of it looked very much like the comic, and I've got no complaints. I'm looking for one made for, and it should be pretty good. Um, hopefully it doesn't get delayed. I mean, it'll probably come out here before anywhere else if they continue doing those sorts of releases. Um, but that's that. But next up on the docket, we had the reveal of a new game called Gotham Knights. This is from the same company that did Arkham Origins. Um, but um, yeah, Gotham Knights looks good. You get to play as all three Robins, which is Red Robin, Tim Drake. You play as Jason Todd as Red Hood. You play as Barbara Gordon as Batgirl, and you play as Nightwing. And I actually bring up the other one here too, which was just recently announced. But Rocksteady is doing Suicide Squad, a game which is subtitled Kill the Justice League. This looks a lot of fun. Um, the four characters you can play as is Harley Quinn, King Shark, Deadshot, um, and Captain Boomerang. Uh, the trailer for this looks amazing. You have to kill Superman and the rest of the Justice League. It's looking like they're all controlled by Brainiac, which is a interesting way to do it. Um, but that's coming in 2022. Gotham Knights, I believe, is coming in 2021. But next up, we've got James Gunn announced the Suicide Squad roster. And this is one of those things that the roster is just created. You got the returning characters Amanda Waller, Harley Quinn, Cap Boomerang, and Rick Flag, and then alongside that you've got the new characters, Michael Rooker, known for as what's his name, but he's going to be playing Savant. Um, Flula Borg is going to play Javelin, David Dasmalchian is playing Polka Dot Man, someone who I never knew I wanted in a live action movie, but am glad I'm getting. Um, Daniela Melchior is playing Ratcatcher 2. Idris Elba is playing Bloodsport. Mei Ling Ning is playing Mongol. Peter Capaldi is playing Finker. Um, Alice Braga is playing Solsuria. Pete Davidson is playing Blackguard. Nathan Fillion is playing TDK. Sean Gunn is playing Weasel. John Cena is playing Peacemaker. And Steve Agee is playing King Shark. So, just from that alone, it's definitely a much larger cast than the initial Suicide Squad movie. But I'm all here for it because they show behind the scenes footage and it looks amazing. Um, but we also kind of had like a motion comic tease for Black Adam, which kind of revealed his suit, the look of the Rock in his suit. Also announced beginning a Static Shock live action movie in the works. Not a lot to be said on that. It just kind of was announced that it's happening. We got a trailer for Zack Snyder's Justice League. And they also kind of said that for those in other areas of the world where HBO Max is not available, they are going to work on a digital release, physical copy kind of thing as well, so everyone is going to get a chance to see it. From the, I mean, the trailer looks fine. I mean, it's I'm still kind of skeptical this is going to be good. I'm not. I mean, I'm not hoping it's going. I'm not hoping it's going to be bad. Because I like anyone. But yeah. Next up, we had an entertaining panel with Zachary Levi, who and the cast Shazam, who did this big panel about not revealing anything, which ended up revealing something at the end, which is that Shazam 2 is going to be titled Shazam Fury of the Gods, which may or may not have Sinbad. I'm not quite sure on Sinbad's reason for being in that panel, but I think it's safe to say he's going to be involved there somehow. Um, and yeah, that's sort of all from DC Fandome. I believe that there is a panel for the Batman happening now, but at the moment, I'm not going to sort of stop or look up. But the other kind of news that we've got here, we've got there is going to be a Planes, Trains, and Automobiles remake, which is in the works, which is going to have Will Smith and Kevin Hart attached. Um, I mean, my usual stance on when it comes to remakes is it's fine. I mean, I'm excited to see what it's going to look like. Will Smith and Kevin Hart is an interesting pairing for it. But I think it's safe to assume that Will Smith is probably going to play the Steve Martin type role in which he's a straight man. Kevin Hart is probably going to be the Bracky counterpart. Um, Apparently, Lawrence Fishburne wasn't asked back to return for Matrix 4, which is interesting. But I mean, I don't. I think at this point, Morpheus isn't overly needed either. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens there. Olivia Wilde is going to be directing a female-led Marvel movie at Sony. It is rumored to be Spider-Woman, and if this is true, this is going to be really good. Just see what it's going to be like, especially if it is Spider-Woman, because Spider-Woman is one of those interesting characters um, that I think could have a um, compelling story to be told. And it's definitely one of those characters which is really interesting. And lastly, um, it's Michael Keaton and Ben Affleck are confirmed as returning in the Flash movie as Batman. Um, provided the Flash movie happens, of course. But um, but yeah, yeah. I mean, this is it's interesting news, but I mean, as I said, this Flash movie has been sort of long delayed, long in the pipelines. Um, I'm not convinced we're getting it personally, but um, but I mean, yeah, if Ben Affleck and that is decides to want to return for it, then it's good. I'm just hoping that all these cast that is going to be returning in this movie, I hope they don't overshadow the Flash, and that's kind of my fear with carrying all the, like Ben Affleck and Keaton as coming back, and there's rumors of Michelle Pfeiffer coming back as well, but I don't know too much about that one. But because I want the Flash solo movie to be about the Flash, not have it turn into a Batman light story. Um, but yeah, um, but yeah, on to the sort of main topic, which actually I might. If there's any questions in the chat, just feel free to drop them. Because I'll turn this into an AMA, and I'll save the main topic of the 80s to next week. Just because I really don't want to talk about like the topic on my own. I much rather have people to sort of banter with when it comes to the main topics. Um, but yeah, so I mean, unless there is any questions in the chat, drop them, or otherwise this is just going to be a really short episode of late night. But yeah, the poll for next week's ranking is up on the Take Three Productions Facebook page now. Um, but other than that, you know where to find me. You can find me on Formula, hosting Formula Classic and Formula Random. This week it's going to be a new girl match between Ryan Payne and Alec Miller. You can find me on Tape Free Productions. I host Late Night in Rankin. Late Night with Tape Free is I'm going to probably try the 80s topic again. But but and Rankin hasn't been sorted yet. I'm waiting for the results of that poll. But yeah,